Good morning everyone, welcome to my channel. So today I want to have another play creating a panel for my French rice bag. So before I get started, I just want to trim back the felt on the remaining three pieces of paneling, I guess is the better word. As you know, when I first created the whole project, I did some extra sides for future rice bags. And back then I made the felt exactly the size as the canvas, which is fine. And I guess if I ever do a third bag, it may be okay. But in this particular bag, I didn't want this felt peeking through. Where on the Japanese bag, the felt at the very edge, once it was all cladded, it was actually another detail. But this one, I just don't want that white felt poking through because it doesn't fit the colour tone. Okay, so far we've got our flower stitched into position, and I've also stitched the bottom on. Remember, we picked just a general French general French general fabric for the base. The base is not seamed, so it really wasn't worth donating some gorgeous antique fabric to the project. So I thought before we get going, I'm just going to prep those remaining three panels, and now we can have a little play. So let's see what we've got. We don't want to use that. That's my last flower in that little strip. There were three of them, and this one has even more detail compared to the previous two. So that one will be saved for a rainy day. That's a good little piece. That came off of the flower panel, so I know it fits the whole colour scheme. These are my little people. They might work. We'll leave them out. That's a definite no. That's a maybe. It's in the right tones. It's a definite no. I'm really eliminating a lot of fabric here. That's a maybe. That's a no. That's a no. That's a maybe. Now remember this one, the box, I really want it to be, that's a maybe. I want it to be about lace. So I probably need to be a little bit wary that I don't get carried away with fabrics and make it about that when I really want to showcase the lace. So let me grab my lace bucket. That's all of our pieces. Now I had thought maybe the collars, remember there were collars and cuffs? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that could be part of it. I don't know. It would work. Do I want to donate that to the project? Would be different. I don't know. Such a fine, fine piece of fabric. It does fit. Actually fits really well. I probably need to have a think about it. I do like the idea. It would be great to have it on display, and it does fit rather well without trimming any of the delicate just jab myself with a pin. I don't want to stain it with any of my internal essence. In other words, blood. And working with pins and needles, it sort of comes with the territory. Oh, that pin is so blunt. I'm sick of buying pins that are blunt. And these are big brands. And you can have some in the pack that are fine, and then others in the pack that are just dull. I really need to make a pin cushion with the, what they call it, crushed walnut shell, so that as my needles and pins go in and out, they're being sharpened. And I have the walnut shell. I've bought some, but I've just never got around to doing it. And they're actually, the bags are sitting on the base of the stand that holds my iPad so that it doesn't topple. I'm really liking that, but I'm not 100% sold that I should use it, if that makes sense. Now, if I was to put that on there, what fabric could we slide in there to make it look like it's got a background? I don't know if that's real complimentary. No, I think it needs to be a little bit more striking. Maybe this. If that was in there. Sort of doesn't feel like a fabric that would be connected to, say, a lace collar. To me, it's a bit overpowering. I just don't know. Look, I'm going to leave that pinned on there, and I just want to think about it. Do I want to use it? Maybe this, there's a fabric back here. In the reject pile, not really. Not convinced. Let me stew on that. Maybe add to the comments what your thoughts were. Is it a great place to display a lace collar? Look, let's be honest, the lace collar will go into a cupboard, into a drawer. So popping it into a project like this is probably not such a bad idea. What will be a challenge is to find a piece of fabric to go here that complements it without it overpowering it. I wonder if I've got some plainer fabrics that I've bought in packs from other vendors that sell French fabrics. I have a feeling I might. So like a really old linen or something. I know I bought some myself as well, but then like big pieces. Maybe I should cut into that and find a colour that can sit in underneath there. So I'm just going to pop this away and we'll come back to it in another video. But I'm thinking I will use it, guys. Like, at the end of the day, it's going to go in the cupboard, isn't it? Where I can actually look at it and play with it. It'll be on my desk, a beautiful crochet edge. I think it'll make a gorgeous side to the box. Like it would sit like that. Yeah. All right. I'm going to do it. But I need to find a fabric here that really makes it sing. So we'll come back to that one. Let's move on to another patch. Now, this lace in here has to be featured. I just love it. Love, love, love it. So once again, we need something. Oh, look at that. But we need something for it to lay on. This is the challenge, isn't it? When you want to feature lace, you need something beautiful underneath it that really highlights it but doesn't overpower it. What about, that's my piece. Oh. So it fits really well too. Yep, that's it. We're going to cut that off just go a little higher than the fabric because I might be able to manipulate it a little bit to get more of the design in. But that's pretty good. Gee, I like that. Okay, so he's featured. The other one that I really want to do something with is this guy, because it's got the cardboard artwork is still here, even though it's a little damaged. I really want to feature that, but that's for another day. Let's just focus on this guy. Now, could we lay a piece of this in? The red certainly would make it pop if that was put into place. Love the flowers on this. She's an old girl. Little worn patches. I'd say this would have come off of a chair or something. Like, it's got the feel that it's been used for that. Yeah, love it. Oh, you can't even see what I'm doing. Let me just bring it over here a little. Yeah, I know that's a simple lay down there. There's not a lot of talent happening there, but I do love it. If that's, yeah, oh, love that piece of lace. If anyone knows the name of this type of lace, let me know. So I'm just going to lay that on there. Oops. And that'll be my base. Remove a few things out of the way. Whoops. Whoops, whoops, whoops. There we go. Let's just redo that. That was a bit backhanded, wasn't it? Let's give us a little bit extra fabric. Let's not be too miserly. I know a few have commented that you felt that I was so brave cutting into these fabrics. I guess I made a decision that because I had hunted them down myself, so they're 100% things that I love, I want to use them. And I'm just, I don't know, I'm just lately seeing beautiful fabrics at the op stores, the thrift stores, that you can just tell they've come from someone's collection. They're not things that I've picked up and purchased, mind you, because they've been colours that I just don't use. But I don't know, you can sometimes tell when a sewing room has been emptied. And yeah, I just sort of made myself a bit of a promise that I was going to use these fabrics. If I was going to go all that way to select them, I was going to play with them. So every inch will be used. You just have to. I just have to. So what am I going to do here is I think I might utilise the fact that this needs to be stitched down, which will catch the back as well. Save reinventing the wheel, so to speak. I think I will trim it back fairly close because I'm just struggling to see where my edges are, because my fabric, my red fabric, is a little bit bigger than. I like that frayed edge. Okay, hold the phone. We're going to move this up so that we can utilize that frayed edge. Can I see the frayed edge? I don't want to see that red that white fabric. I'm just going to come back a fraction. That's better. Yep. Yeah, that's good. Now I can trim it more true, just with a fraction showing. I'm definitely going to use that sleeve. It's got to find a home. I just said it myself. It'll end up in an ops shop, and someone like me will come along in the future and utilise it in a project where I could have used it in my own project. So it's definitely going on. What I will need to find is a nice fabric to highlight it or to lay it onto. Now I might just manipulate this lace just a little bit, because there's a little bit of give in it, so that I don't lose any of it. Does that make sense? Sometimes just simple colours work, don't they? Just keep it plain. And I love how that tulip is popping through there. So I get to appreciate the base fabric as well. Now, I might try and see if I can, that's not too bad. I might try and bring that down a fraction. I really want that petal or that leaf to be in it. So I might stitch it like that, so that, and then I'll just tuck that lace down a little bit, just to sort of disguise the fact that I have squinched it up there. I might just tuck those little threads in under, so it'll look like it's meant to be. It's just not as lacy there. It's just a shame to lose that shape. And I might see if I can manipulate this one a little bit too. I might actually trim that and turn it. Who's going to know? Who will know? No one will know. And that way I keep that little morsel in its entirety, and I'll be able to stitch that so that it looks like it's meant to be. There we go. So that'll just be a heap of invisible stitch to pin it all together. And I'll probably go and find a burgundy cotton so that I can do some stitching through here, just little stitches, just to give it that quilted look. And then the rest of that lace will just be, you know, all stitched down. Okay, so what I might do is I'm going to pause the video, because that panel that's pretty much ready to go. And that'll go on there. So look, I'm going to pause the video and we're going to revisit this sleeve, but I need to have a little rummage around to see what fabric I can find here, because there's nothing here. So I will be back as soon as I can, and I'll just connect the videos. All right, guys, see you in a moment. Okay, I'm back. Now I went digging and I found all of the plainer pieces of fabric that I thought I could use. This one would be perfect, but it's the printed panel that I picked up from the market, so I just can't cut into it. But the colour is beautiful, but we're going to put it away. So then I started looking through some of my plainer ones. Now these ones I purchased myself when I was there, and yeah, they would be okay, but they sort of feel to me a little drab. I don't know, the whole thing felt a little drab. Then I dug a bit further and I found the two pieces that I bought from Lisa and Lara at Forage. Now, these are fabrics that the girls picked up in the markets as well. So they're starting to pop them in their store and sell them. So I've got a couple here that have potential. So let's have a little look. Let's get this off. I'm pretty sure the position will be as, you know, as if there was a hand here. So I'm not too worried that I'll end up changing that. And I may even leave that fabric. I don't know. I don't know if I'll cut it back. That way I can always unpick it and pull it out. I don't know. Maybe I'm just struggling with the whole idea of cutting it. Okay, now this is just too thick. I'm sort of picturing an article of clothing that someone's wearing, and on her wrist is this little lace collar. I guess this could be a jacket, but it sort of doesn't really, no, rejected. Now these two are interesting because they have colour about them. The one side is a different colour to the other, and I have these patches, which I just love, but I'm wondering if this is a bigger project. No, it's not that one. No, I can't do it. I just can't do it. I can't do it. Now this is a plainer piece, so I'm happy enough to cut into it, and it would be just a piece laid on, a beautiful, very coarse linen, and then over the top lays our beautiful piece. I don't know. I just don't think it suits the collar. Maybe I need to revisit some of the florals. Where's the reject pile? Let's have one more flip through. I don't think that feels like it's come from a couch or a curtain. That's the wrong style. It's too busy. Like it would work, but it's just not that piece. Not that. It's furnishings. That feels like furnishings. Don't tell me I don't have the right piece of fabric. That's furnishings. That's furnishings. That feels like furnishings. It's a curtain. Oh my goodness. That's those lads and the dancing ladies in the furnishings. That was another piece that I got from Lisa. So I'm just going to add it to my stash of French fabrics because the girls got that over in France. Oh, no, leave that. I've already used that. And that leaves this. And that doesn't look right. That looks like it's off of a sofa. Well, what did I reject? All right, let me just go back down here onto my pile. And let's have a look through these again. So, no, that's just feels like a sheet fabric. Oh, hello. Hello, here we go. I haven't used this at all. It does have blue in it. Does that matter? Does it matter? Let's make a bit of room. This is getting out of hand here. This is a piece of very thin fabric. Now, one could say that it is from clothing. I'm going to say more like it's probably sheeting, but who knows? What's that say? Who knows? I'm liking the idea of this, guys. I wonder if we could position a rose And we pretend that it's from a lady's dress, and she would have, see this rose? And can we position the lace maybe in another direction so that the rose is seen? How would we do that? Okay, there's these tiny itty bitty pins on here. I think they call them quilter's pins, don't they? It's tiny. Where's my ruler? Does anyone know what these are all about? Is it just something maybe dressmakers use? That's 1.5 centimeters. That's just the cutest little pin. I don't know why they've put it on the paper, probably because it is thin. So I just want to take up this corner and see if we can position that rose so that it's at least seen. Oh, how pretty is that? Like, I like it just that. It's finding the right balance between seeing what we want to see and then having enough space to display what we want to display. That is pretty. That sort of feels like it's more suited to each other. Don't you agree? And if I don't stitch down that lace too much, like I just keep my stitching line back in there, we would get the flowers peeking through. Could probably pull it back a fraction more. Might be a bit tricky. I think that's going to be the side. I think it matches too. It works because we've got this floral thing happening. Yeah, that's what we're going to do with this one. I'm going to try and best position that so we'll still see it. I do lose this one, so what I might have to do is before I stitch down the so I'm just thinking, yeah, before I stitch down the collar, the cuff, it's not a collar, it's a cuff, I think I might be able to cut back this fabric and then selvage that little rose. It'd be a shame to lose him forever when I could utilise him for something. All right, we're going to do it. I don't think there's a better rose. There's that one there. I sort of like the long. Yeah, no, this is going to be the rose. How do I get in there without making a hell of a mess? Let's just cut this out. There we go. Another piece of glorious fabric being used. Chop, chop, girl. Into it. Don't hold back. Okay. There's our piece. Oh yeah, I love it. Okay. That just works beautifully. The tones are better for the whole project. Let's have a look at the red one. Yeah. We've got a thing happening here, even though there is blue in it. I don't mind. Okay, so there's our piece. So the question is, where do we place? Where do we place the lace collar so that we can best see? I guess, could we put it through there? So we need that top edge to pin it to the square, and we need that edge there. So I guess that's the non-negotiable. We've got to get into that. Oops, I picked up one of those little pins. They're not going to work for me, my big fingers. I'm just going to follow. Do I follow the line? And we work the collar in. Oh, I keep calling it a collar, it's a cuff. And we do a slight gathering. We could do. I guess it's all going to come down to what looks the prettiest, doesn't it? Let's get this side in because that's another non-negotiable. It has to go to that point. Oh, that's so heavily crocheted there. That's so dense. I should hate to think how little the needle was, the crochet hook. Oh my goodness, I've got some in my stash from Grandma's collection, the little thin metal ones, and they nearly look like needles. So I really need to trim back that edge too. Let's just do that because I'm pretty confident that the fabric will stay. Get rid of all that under there. And we're going to square this up. And then I know I can bring my crocheted edge right up to it. It's time to commit. There we go, that's better. And like usual, I'll just scoot through with an invisible stitch just to hold all the little true bits down. That could do with a trim, but I'll do that once I've finished. It won't hurt to have a little bit of give on the fabric. So we've got our sides pinned, but I just feel like I want to pull that back a little bit so I can see that rose. There is a bit of rose that's going to be lost there. So let's just get that a little bit. That's better. So she's got a pretty lacy dress. Oh, she's got a pretty floral dress on, and then her little arm is coming across. Might even pull that up. That's interesting. It's not so straight. I like that. Giving that wave through here. So it's not such a straight line. Pull that right back. That's pretty. And that shows the fabric. And let's pin it. I think I will trim this back. At the end of the day, it's just a thin little, look at the little stitching there. Oh, it's the thinnest little. I wonder if I could use this to maybe clad over the straps. You know how you have the loops at the top? Maybe this could be laid over that just so that the fabric is at least used. And then what I might do, yeah, I'm happy with the position. I'm just going to trim back this under fabric a little, because that's definitely sitting now in the right spot, or the sleeve is. Then I might look at bringing that over that edge so I get a nice folded edge on this. It'll feel more like it was a sleeve, I think, and that'll disappear a little bit into that'll disappear into the bag. And look, at the end of the day, if I feel like I just can't cut that, I can just leave it in there. So if this piece was, I'm going to do that. If this piece then was ever, this bag was ever pulled apart by someone in the future, they will get that sleeve off in its entirety. That's what I'm going to do. And I might just do a very fine running stitch or something around this top edge. And then maybe slip stitch it onto the bag instead of doing an overcast stitch, so it looks a little bit more dainty up here. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. There we go. The sleeve will stay as it was. I think you'll be all happy with that. Yeah. Oh, I'm happy with that too. Gee, I didn't set out thinking a sleeve would be used, but you just never know, do you? Once you start playing, I need to check that there's no pins in there. I don't think there was. Yeah, there we go. I love it. Yep. I love it. It picks up that white, well, off-white lace. Yep, then I've got the dark moody one, and we can do one more. Okay, so let's pop these up out of the way, bring in our final patch. Now I do want to use this. Now unfortunately it's torn, so let's remove it. Or do we remove it? We have to remove it because it's holding the whole lace together. But what we do have here is where they've stitched it. See how they've held it on with that thread? We'll do the same. So we will attempt to reattach the sides, I think. Don't know how, but we will. Now, we need a background fabric. Now, one that did catch my eye as a potential, which was still fairly neutral, is this fellow. Because there's some, oh, I need more space. Let's put them away. Let's put that away before it gets damaged. See, this piece here is the right colour and has some quite interesting areas to it that might lend themselves to what we need. I do like that line. Could be over there. I've got a hole here. So with that edge, I like that floral edge there. It'd be a shame to lose that. And then we lay some lace and our little tag on there, but we utilize this. I like that. It's neutral, it fits our colours. I do like the way that that sits on that edge. That'd be my boundary. Let's pin it. Let's do it. This is the one. And then we'll go and look at some of the laces and see if we can create maybe a sampler or I don't know. I just don't want it to wriggle. It feels like it's nice and straight. I'll cut it a little wider than what I need, and that way if I need to jiggle it a little to make it look right, it should be okay. Okay, just a little bit wider, just in case. But I think I'm fairly straight. I guess that cut would tell me. Yep. Yeah, it's a little bit crooked, but I think it'll be okay. Be brave, go forth and cut. There's still heaps of fabric there, especially when you're doing slow stitch. Like little pieces is all we really need. So oh, look at that piece there. I just folded that back. Look at that. You glorious thing. I just don't know about that trim they've put on the side of it. It's like they were making a curtain or something and they were a little bit short, or they were really old curtains and it was damaged, so they've stitched on this fabric that's from a different era. I don't know. Maybe the fabric's not as old as I think it is. That's possible too. End of the day, I got no idea. Yeah, okay. So that's that, and that came from this. So we definitely need a piece of this lace. And I know this lace is not old, but it's definitely a little special. Why is that rolled over? It's just needs to be, it'll take a bit to stitch. I'll need to make sure all that edge comes out. And stitch that down. So I can come right over there. I think that needs to come into there, but I'm not sure. Could even come down to there. Anyway, let's see what other laces suit this little. So we've already dealt with him. None of those really do much for me because they're sort of too fine. This little collar. No. No. I've got this this little morsel left. We could use it. Oh, that's so beautiful. It's too overpowering for the design. And then this little guy and that one. I'm wondering if we utilise the lace the tag come from is a definite. So let's get him pinned down. I'll position it better once I know I'm ready to stitch it down. But at the moment, let's just pin it there. Whether it goes right to the edge or it comes in a little bit. Now this little guy, this is a little morsel left. And I'm wondering if we can use it. So where are you going to go? Maybe there. So I'll use some glue to get it onto the fabric. Then don't mind covering this up because I've got it here. But I don't think I want to decrease the size of that. So I'm going to try and use the whole tag if I can. Size is so delicate. So if that comes into there, it would just, and then this lace drifted across. So it's sort of tucked in underneath this lace a little bit. Like so. So that could come across a little bit. And this little guy would just sit there nicely. I think that will come right across. Okay, so we've got our tag with a little spot. And I thought what I might do is we'll maybe tuck this underneath here. So I'll stitch that into there. So we'll never know that that's missing. And it can just continue there. Might as well use the lace. So delicate. Like that would go there. And I should be able to stretch it just enough that it feels like it goes to that edge. Like so. That would come to there. Like that. Yep. And then this can slide down into there like that. Okay. That would attach there like that. So now, I guess we've got to have a think about this plain tab up here. What could go there to pull it all together? I need nearly like a feature. Nothing's coming to mind, to be honest. What about, I was just thinking about the monogrammed letters on some of those pieces of linen, but I think they're too big. And I don't know if I want to donate them to the project. I could do with like a feature. Something. I don't know. Something that was like, you know what I mean? mean. I sort of need like a motif. I don't want to take it out of that. I know this is not French, but it's of the era. I'm wondering if I could use a piece of this lace just as a little highlight. It's from my grandmother. Well, I believe it's from my grandmother's mother or my grandmother's aunt. I'm going to use that. It means the world to me. That lace there is on the flower. Yep, that's what we're going to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this end bit. And I'll go wide with it. I'll go right up through here. Yep, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to, when I'm ready, that will be glued down, and this will help protect it a little bit more too. So we've got this couple little tears here. So I'm going to bring that up through there as just another layer. It'll come across. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. I think that'll help protect that paper a little bit too. So it'll be glued and stitched just to try and blend the two. Yeah, I like that. I do, I probably will do a little bit of stitching in around here. We'll see. We'll get the whole slow stitch thing happening. I think we'll put that away. I'm going to I'll cut that up here. And we'll see how we go from there. All right, let's get this delicate little guy out of the way. I'm going to put those two somewhere safe. And the little piece of lace, that's going to sit out of the way. And I will just work on stitching these three down now. Okay, we have a plan. I like how they all tone together too. I still think I might play in here a little bit. I don't know. I'll think about it. Can't be making all these decisions at once. All right, guys. It's a little bit shorter video than usual, not by much. So I'm just going to leave it at that, go away and do a heap of stitching. And in the next thrilling episode, you'll see what sort of come of the placing of all this. I'm pretty sure nothing will really change. It's really just a little bit of stitching, and then we can start adding it to our, oh, the colours are great. Even that base works, doesn't it? The red. Yep, beautiful. All right, thank you very much, guys. I'm going to try and warm up, and I've got a bit of stitching to do. Look after yourselves. Have a lovely day. Bye.